Hello, 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 hello. I don't know what I'm doing. Hello, hello, hello. How you guys doing? It's a good night tonight. Of course, I'm going to bed way too late. It's like 11:30, but I got my groceries for the next 2 weeks, so I'm good. But today, I think I wanted to distinguish um, my definitions of love because in our English language, we only have one idea of one word for love. And we say love, we say love, we say love. I love this, I love that, I love this. But the idea of love, the concept of love, is so complex and nuanced and diversified that it warrants having multiple definitions for love. And not only that, it is so complex, not complex, but it's so blended and uh, more, like I said, nuanced than just its single definition that it starts bleeding. If we start are separating it into different definitions, they inevitably bleed into each other, and that's why we have just one idea of love, because they do kind of all with each other. But I think it's important to distinguish the differences. So the first one I want to get out of the way is passionate love. This is every romantic drama you could think of. It's that chemistry that people have with each other. So it's the people laughing at your jokes. You're laughing at their jokes. You think they're cute, just sipping some coffee at the at the coffee shop. Just that little spark you get whenever you touch them, whenever you hug them. And then the traditional, like what you see in all romantic movies and TV shows. I'd call that passionate love. And before we get any further, I just remembered one thing to think about too in terms of love. We only have one definition of love in the English language, but the Greeks had, I think, 8 different definitions of love. So that's kind of why I want to parse them out in our English language to get a better understanding of it. So the first one on the top of my head I'm thinking about is passionate love. So this isn't right or wrong, but it's just one type of love. And the other type I would argue for is romantic love. This is the one where I think it follows passionate love, but it's the commitment to a person, it's also the compatibility with someone, and it's unveiling yourself and their self to understand each other and grow from it. That's a different kind of love. That's, I would argue, the romantic love. But this romantic love, you're not going to have the same romantic love as you would for a family member, and that would be familial love. Now, I want to distinguish this real quick. So, whenever I say familial love, I do not mean blood-related family. It can be your blood-related family, but I would argue that this familial love is someone who unconditionally loves you. That no matter what happens, they love you unconditionally. You could run over their toe. I don't know, run over their toe, but at the end of the day, they're still going to express their love for you. The perfect example of that is Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Spoilers if you didn't watch it. Throughout all 3 seasons, Zuko, his nephew, is just this terrible person. But he's also struggling with his desire to please his father, who shamed him during his Agnikai, his fight against him, but also redeem himself, redeem his identity as this fire lord. But also realizing, like, maybe that's not what he wants. Maybe that's not who he is. And during the second season, Zuko betrays Uncle Iroh, who was there from the very beginning, always walking with them, always with them, always trying to teach him the way or lead him the way, but letting him choose for himself and always going with him regardless of what his choice was. And then even with all this expression of love, even with it, condemning him at the very end, just pleading to him to say, this is not who you want to be. Who do you want to be? He still betrays him. And once Zuko in the third season finally realizes, oh crap, I made a mistake, I need to redeem myself. At the very end, he goes to Uncle Iroh. He finds Uncle Iroh again. And he's on his knees and he's like, I know I betrayed you so much. I know I treated you so horribly. I don't know, like, there's nothing I can do or say. And then Uncle Iroh just hugs him. I'm gonna cry. It's so great. He just hugs him. I don't know specifically what he said, but Uncle Iroh said something like, I will always love you, no matter what happens. And that's unconditional love. Is that no matter what happens, no matter what this person does to you, no matter what happens in your relationship, you're still going to love them regardless of that. And I think the deep kind of loves are those that are unconditional. So like passionate love, I don't think is very deep, let's say, because it's just not unconditional. One moment you are passionate for someone, the next moment you're angry at them, or the next moment you feel something different. So that's what I think one of the main difference between romantic love and passionate love is that unconditional love is making sure that you say, and like, you might piss me off sometimes, I might hate you sometimes, but I'm always gonna love you no matter what. So that's a familial love. And I think right now, there's one other kind of love, and that's love for humanity. And what I mean by that is understanding that we all have going through the human experience and also living in this life, in this world and universe. And that is what connects us, is that we're sharing this life and this world and this universe with each other. And once you finally realize that, you can start becoming more empathetic to others as well. Is that through acknowledging their hardships and their sufferings, and that you are both just trying to live in this world. And I think that's love of humanity, is understanding that humans have the choice to, in their struggle in life, to either be good or bad. And that's what distinguishes us between like eternal being like the gods or animals, is our ability to choose how we want to live our lives. And even if a God is perfect, it does all right, virtuous actions, and knows all and wields their emotions perfectly, I think it's more honorable and more impressive that a human who can't control their emotions perfectly, who can't be virtuous, or not can't be virtuous, but can't wield their virtue perfectly, still chooses to be virtuous and rise up over their suffering and hardship to be the best human that they can be. And at the end of the day, it's their choice. And for me, I think that's the heart of it's a record of Ragnarok. That's the manga, the fight, Jack the Ripper versus Hercules. I think that's what Hercules embodies. Because throughout the fight, he talks about all the horrible things. Not all the time, but a recurring thing he does is say all the things that humans are horrible for: greed, lust, envy, genocide, all this, and says, but I still love humanity. He doesn't love humanity because of the evil. He loves it because we're able to choose how we suffer, how we struggle in this world. That we do struggle and then we do choose to be better. One quote he tells Jack the Ripper, who's the embodiment of evil in this world practically. What he tells him is, you gave in to your impulses. It gives me shivers, because how many times do we give in to our impulses? How many times do we just slip up? Or how many times do we not even care and just allow the impulses to happen? To just do it as it is? And that's what Hercules is talking about, is you have a choice, Jack. You have a choice to be animalistic and go with your impulses, or to be better. And so far you haven't. So I think that's the love for humanity as well. And we need to distinguish that between romantic love, familial love, and passionate love. Because that's a 100% different kind of love than any of the rest of them. Because if my familial loves are being hurt by another human, then my unconditional love for our, I don't know. Oh, my familial love's gonna go first. But that doesn't mean I don't love humanity. That just means I want to preserve humanity. And I think that might be the main point of love for humanity, is the preservation of humanity because you love humanity, not necessarily the saving of all humans, but it's the preservation of humanity. And if someone like Hitler is going through Germany, Europe, enslaving Jews, enslaving gypsies, Soviets, communists, killing hundreds of thousands of people, all trying to exact his revenge, then maybe the killing of Hitler is something that is done through an act of love rather than an act of resentment. It's a need for the preservation of life. But also, it's kind of hard too because you as a human being don't really know what will happen if Hitler goes. So it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation. But yeah, I do think there is a difference between killing and murder. But humans aren't really good at distinguishing the difference, knowing the difference, of distinguishing the difference, nor do we know the difference. If we did, then we'd be God. We'd fix all the problems in life. So, yeah, and it's funny because that killing and murder, we don't ever accuse nature of murdering. Nature is nature. Nature does as it wills. And it comes and it goes. And it's not even I don't even think it's indifference. It's just that nature's way of being. So if a hurricane comes through, you can't really fault the hurricane. It's just how the universe works. And I can see how you can get into how it can get complicated if you do believe a God's doing all the work and manipulating everything. I don't tend to believe that kind. I tend to believe more of the Tao, and that it's just everything is divine. Everything is everything is within, condones to the Tao, to God. Everything is made from the Tao, so everything's made from the universe. Let's just say that, made from the universe, and there's always, maybe not a reason, but there's the inner workings of life is something beyond human reasoning, just because we are flawed. Now, I don't think scientists would believe that, but I also think one of their core tenets is that we're always uncertain about our beliefs. So it's kind of a catch-22, is you really will never, if you have science, you'll never get ultimate knowledge, because science needs uncertainty to continue and perpetuate itself. So kind of weird there. So yeah, I don't know, but I do know that love for humanity is definitely different and definitely something we need to consider, and I don't think has been considered enough in our Western culture. So yeah. 18 minutes. I'm back on the groove, baby. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Bye.